It's okay to be sad. It's okay to not be okay. As long as you're healthy and you're trying your best and you have the intention to show up for yourself, sad emotions and being down as a part of life and as a part of who you are, so accept that and love that as a part of yourself too. So it's okay. And this is a sad day in my life, and it's okay. It's a beautiful day, it's a good day, and it's a sad day. They're not mutually exclusive. I've really been enjoying using this mug lately, and I've had it forever, but I always felt like it was really heavy, and then I don't know what switched along the way. Something about how heavy it is. It feels so cozy and grounding, and the thick walls. Maybe it keeps the drink cooler, so that has kind of reflected in my practice, and I've been making a lot thicker mugs and cups, like on the wheel and whatnot. So I'll see how they turn out, because I haven't made one that completely finished yet. Yeah. But I wanted to interrupt the scheduled programming for this week, and the second half of the Tokyo vlog will come to you next week, because I'm just not in a place to finish it right now. But yeah, I just haven't been very well rested, and I feel like you can kind of tell, like. But today marks 1 year since my dad passed away, and I got the call and everything happened at night. So today, technically, like last year this time, was his last day here, and I can't help but think about what I was up to that day. You know, like I woke up, carried out as normal, focused on like my challenges, my problems. And last year this time I still had the studio in Brooklyn where I would go and paint a lot. This week I've been sad, and I have been a lot more in touch with my body and in tune to understand when I feel the signs of depression. And first of all, I'm really proud of myself for that, because it just makes so much sense when I'm not reacting, like constantly reacting. I sit and I observe, and then I try to understand why I feel away, because your body is here to be with you and help you move through the world. It's not against you. So we gotta listen and see these signals and not resist. Resistance is another thing that I'm thinking a lot about. I just got an Apple Watch as a gift, by the way, and that's been really cool because I want to try to track my exercising stuff. Anyway, this is gonna be like kind of like a get ready, a little bit of a merge, but I want to have coffee before I do my makeup, because I really don't like room temp coffee. Sadness is an emotion, just like happiness. Emotions are fleeting, they flow in and out, and we experience them like constantly in motion. So maybe it's a fallacy to expect yourself to perpetually be happy and to never experience negative emotions. And negative emotions, I think, make up like half of life. That's almost like thinking about it as like spectrum of rainbow. Like the color white is made up of all the colors, and maybe for emotions like that includes negative emotions, happy emotions. That encompasses the whole of who we are in the human experience. It's like the relationship of almost transitioning from one to another. It makes it mean something more, because it is different than how you felt previously. It is like the evolution, or the flux of us moving through and being alive. Bestie Claire sent me a cartoon that said, life could be understood. It said life could only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards. And that reminds me of this Tumblr quote I read a long time ago in like high school. And it said like, in life, you get the test first and then you learn the lesson. I want to accept who I am at each stage because what it represents, like for me in this case, and this week, my sadness represents the love that remains, that makes me miss my dad and makes me reminisce and feel so thankful and full for everything that he's given me in the 17 years that we share together. It also makes me remember the long journey that we walked down together, because here's something really precious to me is that because of him, you know, because of my mom and their commitment to building a family together with what we were given, I will forever be changed. I will forever be a person that knows what it's like to have unconditional love and give that to someone who's not your blood. And that's one of the most precious gifts I have ever experienced. I feel like his memory and his legacy, like it's even more special to look back at the 8 years that he battled cancer and try to be present in our family. I think I'm shifting, and I'm choosing to shift the way I look back on events from like focusing on the suffering and the sadness and like all the negative emotions I experienced, and I'm like feeling such a sense of love and respect and what else? Like admiration for seeing that even in his dying days, he still tried to stick around. He still tried to show up as much as he could. I've also met a couple of people recently, and it's very normal in like I think like Chinese or Asian households that you don't use words of affirmation. You use acts of service and nonverbal and more like passive means to show that you care, show that you love someone, and that has, I think, led some people to tell me or believe that talk is cheap. They're like, words don't mean anything, they don't carry weight, you can say anything you want and then you can turn around and betray those words. And I think that's true, because I definitely have met people like that, for sure. But then I was like talking to my mom, I was like, wait, why can't you do both? Technically, like, why does it seem like it has to be one or the other? Like, you either are some like charlatan or something, or you're a really stoic, seemingly cold person who has to convey love like in a passive manner. I think one thing that my dad's like Americanness has brought to our family, because I think our family still lean very traditionally like Asian growing up, but my dad has like changed my mom and how she can hold a conversation about emotions, and talk about things, because that's something that she never experienced growing up with her family. Terms of endearment is also very normal now in my family, and yeah, I'm really grateful for that, because it allows me, I think from my perspective, it allows me to experience love in like more ways, and like more, like it broadens the spectrum. Well, I got cut off because my memory card was full. There are a couple of packages waiting for me, so I'm really excited to find out what it is. I know this one's a t-shirt because my friend Julian, he's a brilliant artist. Go check out his work, Snakebone, on Instagram. He makes a few t-shirts of his graphite pencil drawings, and I really wanted this one, so he gifted it to me. Bambi found a little water bottle cap. He's playing with it. But yeah, that is what I'm gonna wear today. I don't even care that it's not washed. I'm gonna wear it like this. One of my favorite spring outfits is just having heat tech underneath, a long sleeve, and then wearing under a t-shirt. Really love this kind of like outfit combo. Yay! Thanks so much, Julian. This is from my friend Kat from Hawaii. And I had no idea that she was gonna send me something. So it's so sweet and unexpected. And just like her to do something like that. Où est mon ciseau? Ah, je l'ai loupé. What? Cat nail clippers works for this kind of stuff. What? Oh, this is Liliko curd. Okay, tropical fruit. That's what it smells like. Well, you know I'm not a big fruit lover, but I enjoy lemon curd. I'm gonna give this a try. Is catnip in it? Oh yeah, I can smell it. You and I can smell it. I can see both of them. 1 and 2. So thoughtful. Lilikoi is passion fruit. It's made a small batch by a local gal in Oahu. Oh, refrigerate after opening. Okay, well, gotta refrigerate that. Ah! Oh, so sweet. I was expecting like a photograph. Prairie, you're trying to get in that tiny box. Must fit in box, Prairie says. There he goes. I'm gonna do a tutorial on my makeup look in a different video because I actually have a lot of tips and explanations to give you. Stay tuned for that. Today I'm just going to carry on talking about my mental health and a little bit of like random chatter, you know, while I get ready for the day. And I think today is like really about taking it easy and just remembering my dad and accepting how I feel about everything. And to give you more detail, like my dad, he never actually wanted children because he thought he wouldn't be good at like handling kids and he wouldn't be like a loving parent and whatever, and clearly he was. He rose to the occasion and he discovered later on, he told us so many times that he's so glad that we came into his life because he had made the decision like early in life, I'm never gonna have my own kids, like it's just not my path. And only after discovering living like in our family did he realize the joy that he never thought was possible, never imagined was out there. And I'm glad that we could have given that to him too, you know, in a way we saved each other. I refer to my stepdad as dad, and then I refer to my bio dad as bio dad. So to talk a little bit more about sadness and not resisting negative emotions, one thing I've learned is if you suppress and you suppress, it's always gonna come find you in one way or another. And by being more comfortable and open about my emotions, sometimes it can like be uncomfortable for other people, because if other people are used to suppressing it, they'll kind of look at you and think like, what's wrong with you? Like, why are you like this? Or like, are you okay? You know, or like kind of like sarcastically ask me like, I don't know. I also don't want it to feel like I'm trying to shame that act of suppressing, because I was there for years and years and years and years and years and years and years, and I see exactly why. It's just like a survival instinct and reflex. So then this is your sign, and this is me telling you that you don't have to be afraid to let it in, let it out, just let it everywhere, let it all around. It's like, because once you face it, and then you can really see it for what it is and relate to your emotions differently, and then you can let it go. And it also brings less shame and disappointment for if my bandwidth is really low and all I can do is just some basic tasks and like the bare minimum for work, and then I can just walk around and mope in the sunlight and listen to Phoebe Bridgers and cry a little bit, then I accept that. I accept that is my life right now and that's who I am. It really compounded things in the past to expect so much from myself and to see sadness as a weakness, as a burden or a disability. If it takes me longer to get out of bed, it's okay. You know, I tell myself life comes in seasons and I'm just in a season of coping with this. Like, this has really impacted my life in a huge way, and maybe in a few years I can look back and understand it better, but for now I'm just kind of in the thick of it trying to figure it out. And one thing that I remember though is neutrality. So I mentioned that at the beginning about emotions, how they're fleeting, and it's really helped me to think about returning to neutrality throughout my day rather than returning to a high state of happy emotions. Then it can allow me to like see emotions for what they are, like momentary, like passing experiences. I realize this now, like how much I've been preoccupied with role playing, and that is tied to people pleasing in my opinion, because subconsciously you're like thinking about how should I behave? How do you think someone would think that I should behave in this instance? And then like try to gear all your energy into that. And I think like that self-abandonment, it really wears you down over time. It really gets you. I'm going to get a tattoo that my dear friend, tattoo artist Jasmine is going to help me do this afternoon, and I'm gonna get my dad's initials, which I've been wanting for years. So I think what better day to do it than today, right? And then I'm gonna have dinner with another friend that I've been meaning to see forever. Like, we keep playing phone tag, and then we finally set a date just to get dinner, and I really look forward to getting quality time with Ada, because our conversations are really meaningful. It's a pleasure to be in existence alongside her, you know, for the little bit of time. I'm gonna be on my way. This is the first time I've been single and like really have felt a transformation in me, and really like turned inwards to see like what my relationship is with myself, and to realize like before I can love anyone else, I really need to love myself. I'm like, what does that look like? What does that look like? Like, how would I treat someone that I love so very much? How would I treat my nephew? How would I treat my close friend? And how can I apply that same effort to myself? You just take yourself for granted, but then I'm like, okay, if I really try to show love to myself, like what does that look like? So it's like, you know, in certain decision making, like today, I tell myself, I'm going to take it slow. I'm going to honor my feelings. I want to do that every day, but especially today. And like, although I feel sad, I don't feel heavy. And I think it's because that heaviness used to come from shame and guilt and disappointment. And I could really just, like, I don't need that. Like, I already have enough to deal with. People, like, the world is gonna give you shit. Like, I already have that. Like, I don't need to give myself shit, so. Okay.